Bonjour à toutes et à tous.
Well, good day to all of you and welcome to this special debate. ResiliArt, Don't Go Viral, Combat Disinformation Thanks to Culture. It will be a debate about artists and creativity as a way of responding to and going beyond the crisis. The debate is organized by UNESCO and in partnership with France 24 on the occasion of this World Africa Day. My name is Valériane Gauthier, a journalist and a presenter for the International France 24 TV channel. Before starting the debate, I'd like to give the floor to Audrey Azoulay, Director General of UNESCO, who has recorded a message to share with us. Good afternoon to all. My name is Audrey Azoulay, and I am the Director General of UNESCO. I'd like to start by very warmly thanking France 24 for the organization of this debate on this World Africa Day. I take advantage of the opportunity to stress the fact that public broadcasting has such an important role to play, especially now during the crisis. This debate is part of a series of debates that we have decided to launch at UNESCO, debates that we're calling ResiliArt, in order to stress the fact that art is important for resilience, a culture, something we need during the crisis and for the future. It's a debate that is essential given that culture is subjected to an unprecedented crisis, a crisis that is putting in danger decades of efforts and investments in culture, which is so important for our understanding of the diversity of the world and in order to make it possible for us to bounce back after the COVID-19 crisis. I would like to welcome all the professionals and artists who are participating in these debates around the world, and thank you to France 24 for being our partner in this effort. We are also relying on artists to transmit information through their songs to combat disinformation. And that's the essence of the Don't Go Viral campaign, which, thanks to the commitment of many artists such as Bobby Wine and Youssou N'Dour, whom I welcome, has already reached more than 130 million people in Africa and around the world through songs that are sung in all of the languages of African diversity. And these ResiliArt debates are essential also to give us a sense of how much culture contributes to our daily lives, how culture contributes in terms of economic development, and the extent to which we must bring it up to the top of our recovery agendas to support a sector that is by its nature fragile and precarious. So have a good debate, and thank you for that. Thank you very much, Director General of UNESCO, Audrey Azoulay. It's a pleasure for me now to welcome all of our viewers for this online debate, which is being jointly organized with UNESCO. It's a special debate on ResiliArt Don't Go Viral, combating disinformation. It's a series of debates organized by the United Nations Organization on Education, Science, and Culture, and we are welcoming quite a few celebrities and artists, a substantial number of whom have committed themselves to combating disinformation about coronavirus. The world of culture plays an essential role in this respect, but it is also a sector that has suffered a lot from the crisis, with concert and performance cancellations, the closing of museums, theaters, and cinemas. So, artists and creativity during and after the crisis, that's really the theme of our debate today. And it's my pleasure to welcome our panelists. First of all, Youssou N'Dour, known around the world, an ambassador of African music in the world. Youssou N'Dour was also a minister of culture in his country, Senegal. He's a committed artist and has joined other Senegalese artists to produce the song called Dan Corona, which means vanquishing Corona, as part of the Don't Go Viral campaign of UNESCO. We also have with us Neila Tazi, who is a well-known entrepreneur in Morocco, but not only, also a founder of the Gnawa Festival in Essaouira, the only woman to be a member of the board of the General Confederation of Moroccan Businesses, someone also who created in 2018 a Federation of Cultural Industries in Morocco in order to contribute to the strengthening of that sector. We also welcome Danny Lee, a rapper from Niger, who, together with a group called Point Levé or Raised Fists, a song called Protège ta life, Protect Your Life, which won the prize for Best Video of the Local Viral campaign. Siti Amina, a singer who fights for women's rights in the music industry, and also joined the Don't Go Viral campaign. Karetse Fotso, a singer from Cameroon who likes to merge languages and genres, putting together French, Betty, and English, singing blues, traditional Bamileke, and other songs from Cameroon, committed from the beginning of her career to women's rights, especially in the field of education in Africa. And finally, Zonani Malova, the South African singer, actress, and inspirational speaker since 2002, leading the internationally acclaimed South African group Freshly Ground, best known for their cooperation with the Colombian singer Shakira on the 2010 FIFA World Cup Waka Waka. Thank you all for being with us. We're going to start with a question to be put to all of our panelists, which will be followed by a second round of questions. Now, in the course of these exchanges, the public can also put questions by using the chat function, and those questions will be put to our panelists via myself. Youssou N'Dour, my first question is to you. Confronted with the current public health crisis, you have decided to take advantage of your art, music, to collect funds. You have, in fact, handed over to the Senegalese Minister of Health the profit from your song Dan Corona, composed with another renowned musician, DJ Awadi, and a group of some 20 other artists. Can you talk to us about that experience and how this musical initiative contributed to
Merci, je
combating
salue tout le monde.
COVID-19 in Senegal? Well, thank you very much for
Effectivement,
the question. I
quand on a
welcome
eu
everyone.
cette grande surprise de l'arrivée du Covid-19, tout le monde
COVID-19 was,
s'y est
of
mis.
course, a
La
tremendous
musique n'a jamais
surprise
été en
for
reste.
everyone,
Senghor disait que
and
la culture est
musicians
avant
were
et
affected
après
by
le
that.
développement. Et donc,
Senghor has
effectivement,
said
nous
that
avons
culture
tout de
is
suite
something that
accompagné
comes
les
before
scientifiques
and
qui
after
nous ont donné des
development.
messages.
So we
ces
have listened to the
messages-là, c'était pour
scientists. They
sensibiliser les
transmitted
populations
messages to
en
us.
leur
They
disant,
were
en leur
important. We
donnant les
transmitted them
gestes
on to the
barrières.
population
Et nous
so
avons
that they
pensé
could learn
aussi que
about
la
social
musique, c'est
distancing.
l'entertainment. C'est
And
vrai que
we
c'est la
also
diversité.
thought that music as a
Le
form of
showbiz, la
entertainment
musique, c'est
is
l'entertainment. Mais on
important
sait qu'aussi c'est une force
to
qu'on peut utiliser pour faire passer des messages.
buoy
Et
up
c'est dans ce
people's
cadre-là que
spirits. So it is
nous
in
avons fait
this
beaucoup de démarches auprès des
respect
populations et beaucoup de
that we have
communication.
done a
Et
lot
c'est
to
là où
communicate with the
Didier Awadbi a eu
population of the
l'idée de
country.
reprendre la
And
chanson
Didier
Kale
Awadi
Réumi.
had this idea of composing a song about COVID-19, and with some 20 other artists, we did this together. I think it's had some impact, but it's never enough. We must continue to raise awareness because this disease comes quietly through your back door. You never know when it will strike you and whom it will strike. Thank you very much, Yusundur. Neila Tazi, we often talk about the impact of the pandemic on artists as a cultural operator in the sector, organizer of the Gnawa Festival in Essaouira. Can you give us some sense of the impact of the pandemic on the cultural and creative industries? And what is the future of those industries? Unfortunately, the speaker's microphone is not live and the interpreter cannot hear. It has now gone on. Yes, just one point. I am not the only female member of the board of the Confederation of Entrepreneurs in Morocco. We haven't yet reached parity, but there are other women, so I wanted to make that clear. Well, obviously, COVID-19 has had a tremendous impact in Morocco. We're still under a lockdown until the 10th of June, from the 10th of March, so that's 3 months. So imagine 3 months of a complete shutdown of any form of public events, what an impact on the cultural sector, and we still don't know when we'll be able to resume. It will depend on the strategy used to move out of lockdown, and that will depend on where the pandemic stands at that time. But of course, whenever you're confronted with a crisis, you need to learn some positive lessons from that. And what are the positive lessons? Well, I think that once again, we become aware of how important the role of artists in our lives is. As Yusundur has said, we need to raise the awareness of the population, get people to stay at home, to follow all of the appropriate measures, social distancing, washing your hands, and so on. That's so important in combating the virus. Artists have recorded a lot of songs, a lot of videos. They've used different platforms. They've taken advantage of street art as well to try to pass on messages. And when messages come from artists, often that is heard much more clearly and loudly by people than when the message comes from politicians. So artists are important. Uh, and when you're in a war or in a crisis, you rely on cinema, on music, on literature. It is artists who make it possible for us to experience emotions, even though we're locked into our homes and we can't live normally. So I think there is a growing awareness of the importance of culture and artists. So I think we have a very rosy future as artists ahead of us. We've been resilient for many years already. The Gnawa Festival has been resilient, and it's been engaged in a sort of a resistance movement to show how important culture and the arts are. But the observation is clear. I mean, we need to work harder, and there will be a very positive future for us. Well, thank you very much. You've said that African artists are resilient, hence the name of this debate, ResiliArt. We'll now go to Niger, to Danny Lee. You're known for a repertory that is full of social commitment, but with your song Protège Thai Life, you wanted to transmit a different message, and you've also decided to put the stress on the contribution of refugees to combating the virus. Can you talk about that for a moment? The speaker's microphone is unfortunately not live. We'll have a problem of connection with Danny Lee, and we can't hear, unfortunately, what he's saying at present. Perhaps I can move on to Siti Amina because we seem to have a problem of connection with Danny Lee. So moving on to the question for Siti Amina. Siti Amina, this pandemic is perhaps affecting women more than men in different ways. What are the challenges confronted by women, and what would you suggest to rise to those challenges?
Personally, the first challenge, I personally face a domestic violence to fight for my career from my husband by beating. But it's the same challenge that faces most of Tanzanian and African women of domestic violence, and especially during this time of pandemic. A lot of case of violence, domestic violence is raised in a society, and also all over the world right now. We're facing a huge domestic violence within our society. But at the same time, we have challenge of cultural agreements in our countries, especially when I'm in Zanzibar. So our culture in the position of women, we're struggling a lot with equal rights. So during this time, it's also getting more, but also lack of good policy. We don't have a good cultural policy, even also knowledge in equally rights in getting education. So yeah, that is the challenges that I'm facing in my community.
Merci, Siti Amina. Thank you, Siti Amina.
Thank you, Siti Amina. We'll go now to Cameroon. Karitsa Fotso, you have turned cultural diversity into one of the strengths of your compositions. And with the emergence and the domination of digital platforms, given the current lockdown or confinement, how can Africa prepare to preserve its cultural diversity? Can social networks be a trump card, an advantage to disseminate creative content, but also to raise the awareness of the public?
Voilà, Caresse Fotso nous a rejoint, on vous laisse la parole.
J'ai pas suivi, s'il vous plaît.
Karitsa Fotso, you have the floor now, but unfortunately I didn't hear the question. A problem of connection. Well, let me put the question again. You have turned cultural diversity into one of the strengths of your compositions, and with the emergence and the domination of digital platforms in the current context, how can Africa prepare to preserve its cultural diversity, and can social networks be an advantage to disseminate creative content, but also to raise the awareness of the public? Well, obviously, with this chaotic risk for everyone, we're in a very complicated situation in Africa as well. And I think that with all of the opportunities that we have through the digital, through the internet, we must learn to take advantage of digital platforms in order to make our works better known. Since the beginning of the confinement or the lockdown, many African artists have been taking advantage of digital networks, but we're confronted with a real technical problem. I mean, I had simply a loss of the connection. I didn't hear your question the first time around, and that's a good example of the kinds of difficulties we're confronted with. So we need to have more reliable communication tools. that could make it possible for us to preserve that cultural diversity. We were already living in a very precarious world in our African countries, and with the lockdown, with being forced to stay at home, that's become more complicated, and we must appeal to all of our leaders to do everything possible to ensure communication. I mean, we can't live in our African bubble. We must be able to communicate with one another and with the rest of the world. I mean, I'm an artist who has traveled around the world, giving concerts, being on the scene, on the stage all the time. And I can no longer do that, but I nevertheless have this tremendous desire to share my culture, my works with others, and I know that that's true of many other artists as well. But the real problem is communication, and that's something we have to work on. If we want to be connected with the rest of the world, that's something that we must improve to the greatest extent possible. Thank you very much, Karetsu Fotso. Danny Lee is back with us, so we'll try to go back to Niger. I already said that you have a repertory that really combines rap with a social message, but with your song Protège Life, you wanted to transmit a different message, and also to stress the contribution that refugees can make to combating the COVID-19 virus. Can you respond to that? Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Valerian. Thank you very much for inviting me to this debate. In Africa, we often say that, yes, human beings have the will, but technology gets in the way sometimes. But yes, my genre is rap, and my fans know Danny Lee as someone who is transmitting a social message, asking for more and more for young people, more opportunities for young people. I'm a young person myself, and I know what my fans have to endure. But with the arrival of COVID-19, we're all completely taken aback. Suddenly, the entire world was confronted with this lockdown or confinement situation. And now, rather than calling on the state to do something to help young people, I've turned myself into a sort of a messenger of the authorities and trying to communicate with young people out there. We're doing this through a group that we've set up called Point Levé or Raised Fists, and we share with young people and others the need to protect their lives and the lives of the people around them. Now, you know that Niger, my country, is a very generous country that for some time now has put in place a very open system for immigrants. We now have some 500,000 immigrants in our country, and in our video, we wanted to give them an important role as well. They can certainly be part and parcel of our fight against the coronavirus. This scourge can be overcome thanks inter alia to them. And together with the United Nations High Commissioner of Refugees, we have got them involved in producing um, gel to kill the virus, soaps that can be used, and this can all contribute to slowing the spread of the virus. So Protège ta life, this bilingually titled song, transmits those kinds of messages. Thank you. Thank you, Danny Lee. We'll now go to South Africa, where we have Zolani Mahola. Zolani, your group called Freshly Ground is very popular and has been a headliner in several festivals around the world. What have been the consequences for you of the cancellations, and what are the limitations of communicating digitally over platforms? You have the floor.
Thank you. I would say, of course, it's been crazy for all of us with cancellations of performances and such. But an interesting thing that I've found challenging in terms of the technological space has been, you know, like many performers around the world, one of our first instincts was to jump onto social media and to connect with our audiences. And that was a really amazing experience for me, connecting with fans all over the world. But I'd also found it a challenging space to be in. Not only, of course, the challenges of technology, of connectivity that have been spoken about, but also in terms of energetically, you know, as a musician, as an artist, you feed off of that energy that you get off your audiences. And sometimes when you are pouring yourself out into the technological space, it can be very challenging. So I have had to really refocus on how to still get myself out there without being too drained by technology.
Thank you, Zolani Mahola. Merci, Zolani Mahola, pour ces précisions.
Well, thank you very much. As mentioned before, artists have committed across the continent in order to raise awareness amongst the general public, to stress the importance of complying with social distancing. Let us now watch a video clip from the Don't Go Viral campaign organized by UNESCO.
Everybody, let's go. Quarantine, quarantine, quarantine. Everybody, quarantine, quarantine, quarantine. Let's go. Everybody now, soap up, soap up, soap up. Everybody, soap up, soap up, soap up. You're ready? Sanitizer, sanitizer, sanitizer. Everybody, sanitizer.
Voilà, vous l'avez vu, l'Afrique qui lutte en chanson contre le Covid-19.
As you saw, Africa is using music in order to combat the COVID-19. We will now move on to the second round of questions. I'd like to start with you, Youssou N'Dour. To tackle the outbreak, many countries have put in place emergency funds to support artists. According to you, what are the sustainable policies that need to be put in place by governments, and how can we coordinate private initiatives in order to ensure the financial stability of artists in these times of crisis? Well, it's quite simple. First of all, we need to keep in mind education, hence the support that we bring to UNESCO, because we think that education needs to be a priority. Secondly, I think that the poorest citizens need to receive help as well, because there are funds across the world, sometimes to the tune of billions of dollars, or even trillions of dollars. But we need to make sure that these emergency funds that have been put in place in the wake of the crisis, these funds also need to be used for the most destitute members of society. Because we are now printing money, and this money needs to be used by the most destitute of our citizens. We cannot lose sight of the poorest members of society. And it is also important to remember that there are other diseases such as malaria. And so we need to keep in mind that there are other things going on at the same time. So we really need to strike the right balance. Yes, indeed, we cannot forget about other diseases, other pandemics. And as we are seeing today, we believe that artists have a key role to play to convey messages on preventive measures. I would now like to move to Nela Tezi. You have been organizing the festival in Essaouira for some 25 years now. Could you tell us about how this festival contributed to reviving, to giving new momentum to the city, and how it made it possible to insist on the importance of artists? This festival has been around for 22 years. We were about to celebrate its 23rd edition. Unfortunately, it has been postponed. We hope that it will be inscribed on UNESCO's World. Actually, in December last year, the festival was inscribed on UNESCO's World Heritage list. This is a cultural project that really contributed to transforming the life of this city. This city was in dire straits before the festival started because the city elite had decided to find opportunities elsewhere outside of the city. And I think that this project came to be really in a timely fashion. People were not aware at the time that the project would really give new momentum to the city and transform the city's destiny. At the beginning, few people were convinced about this project because you need to remember that these people are descendants of slaves. They come from the um, kingdom of Sudan, and they were living in extremely difficult financial circumstances. They were playing music in the street, and in a way, this festival was a way to pay tribute to their legacy and to the Sufi message that they had to transmit. And so again, this festival really revived the city. It created great momentum in the city of Essaouira. And I think that this city has become the flagship, really. It is an iconic city of how culture can contribute to economic development. It is a wonderful tourist destination. The city has completely changed, and we have conducted a study that shows that for one, that really the money that was invested in the city was really put to good use and generated substantial profits. We want to claim our our African legacy. Morocco is very much an African country, but at the time, 25 years ago, many people in Morocco thought that they really belonged to the East, and we were not that close to the African culture. And through this project, we asserted a claim. We said we are also members of the African community, and we welcomed household names of African music, including Youssou N'Dour, who participated in the festival a few years ago. I have wonderful memories of his performance. Today, this festival created momentum. We now organize 9 festivals throughout the year in our city. And actually, the recovery strategy we have put in place to stem the flow of COVID-19 is very much based on culture and the cultural offer that we have. Human development is very important. Culture is about sustainable development. It's about economic development and human development. And we know that it's one of the priorities of the African continent. Africa needs to insist on the development of its populations, which is at the heart of any other form of development. And therefore, the recognition given by UNESCO by inscribing this festival on the list of World Intangible Heritage, it is a great recognition. Again, these people used to be playing in the street, and now this festival has been around for 25 years. It is really a message of hope, and it's a way for me to respond to your message, to your question, Valériane. What I'd like to say is that this is about social development, economic development, human development. It has an impact on population. It raises awareness. It raises awareness about the fact that the cultural sector is a sector in which we need to invest. We need to talk about education, of course. We need to restore the place of culture within schools and education. And we need to create jobs, of course, because culture greatly contributes to development on the African continent. This is a message that we need to convey, and to do so, we need to have young people who are trained in this area. Yes, as you were saying, this festival clearly demonstrates that culture can generate profits and that culture should be one of the pillars of African economies. I'd like to move on to Danny Lee. During the crisis, it must be quite difficult, of course, to continue creating, producing, disseminating music. You have created a group called Raised Fist. What is the role of a collective co-creation in order to rethink the cultural sector and the world of tomorrow? Thank you very much once again. In Niger, we can't really talk about lockdown. What I'd like to say is that the government has put in place security measures, security policies to protect the population. There is a curfew in place.
Exactement, c'est ce qu'on rappelle. Il y avait eu des mesures
Gatherings are
au début.
banned. Yes, measures were taken. However, we are not experiencing a lockdown to the same extent as you are in other countries, and therefore we were able to go about and go about our day. The COVID-19 situation clearly showed how fragile the cultural sector was in my country, because many of my colleagues, artists, of course, rely on music in order to earn a livelihood and to put food on the table. And many of my colleagues usually play in restaurants or bars over the weekend, and therefore with the COVID-19 situation, the cultural sector is really in a very difficult situation. Many artists are experiencing difficulties. We receive our copyrights every quarter, for example, and we do not receive much. And so, I mean, if you think about it, with the COVID-19, of course, many artists barely make enough money to eat. So we were clearly hit hard by the situation. This being said, some people have new ideas. For example, we have created this group, a group that really strives to pass on messages to the state. We are saying to the state that it is about time that we rethink the cultural sector, because of course another disaster may be around the corner, and so we really need to start thinking about the future of the cultural sector. We need to help artists, and we should maybe, as was suggested by Yusu and Duo, we should think about putting in place emergency funds, but we need to make sure that the ones that need it the most also benefit from the funds. So policymakers really need to be made aware of the fact that we need to rethink the cultural sector, the music sector. We need to equip artists with the necessary tools so that they can cope with unexpected crises. We need to also help artists recover from situations when they arise. So this is the message that I would like to convey. We really need to fulfill the promises that have been made, and we need to help artists to make it through the crisis. Siti Amina, you are also one of the artists involved in UNESCO's Don't Go Viral campaign. You created this song in which you remind us of the importance of social distancing measures, messages that are passed on to the population, including in your country. Do you think that your song had an impact? Do you think that the audience complied with the instructions you gave them?
When before COVID-19 spread in my country, most of the people in society, they believe that this COVID, it's only for the people from abroad, maybe like white people, not for the Africans. That's why I decided to compose faster about Homa Dunia, that we should be aware. And I'm so happy, like only 15 minutes after launching, I got a call that from a government. On the next day, I should launch that song in front of a second vice president of Zanzibar in my country. So it's a big impact for me, because I face a lot of challenges and artists doing music and get support from the government or from the society. So it was a big impact, but also my song have spread all over Tanzania in the local radios and the local TV. And I get a lot of shares from local people, more than all of my posts. So it's I believe it receive a lot of impact to my society.
On va donner la parole à
I
Caresse
would
Fotso.
now like to give the floor to Caresse Fotso. You are also an advocate for women's rights. You also want to tackle gender inequality in education, what policies could be put in place by governments to avoid seeing increased dropout rates amongst schoolgirls? And according to you, what is the role of artists? Well, thank you very much once again. In the face of the COVID-19 crisis, I believe that the state should first and foremost put the emphasis on education, especially girls' education, young girls' education. It is extremely important. In Cameroon, we tried to find strategies in order to keep our children wide awake. They need to continue receiving lessons at home. All children, not only French-speaking children, and we also try to give priority to students who were about to pass an exam. But I think that we would have done even better with more anticipation. Of course, we were all caught off guard by the virus. But just to give you the example of my children, well, they came home one day and they told me, well, tomorrow the school will be shut. Whereas I think that in other countries, people were prepared. They were told about the fact that schools would be closed, and teachers were also prepared. This would have given them more time to prepare for lessons. But children, of course, some children are lucky enough that they receive schooling at home when they have a reliable connection, for example. But usually these children came from more well-off families. Hence the importance for the state to do everything in its power to give the opportunity to all members of society. They need to have access to school, regardless of where they come from. This should not be the reserve of a few. Every parent should have the possibility to school their children, because children in public schools, for example, were unable to continue receiving their lessons on social networks, for example. Because when you go to a public school in my country, usually children who go to public schools come from the poorest families, and teachers are not paid enough, and school facilities are lacking, which means that it is sometimes impossible for teachers to continue teaching online. Their salaries are low, and the children that come from these families, children that attend public schools, very often the families are destitute. They do not have enough to eat on a daily basis. They are facing countless problems, and the state failed to bring support to families as early as possible. Now, of course, now the government is trying to come up with quick solutions. Of course, we were all surprised by the scope of the crisis, but I think that the government is really trying to find quick fixes to basically transport people who are sick to other countries to provide them with care. I think we need to put in place reliable and sustainable systems. If only the elite can go abroad to receive treatment, where are we going? If they had only put in place the necessary facilities in order to give care to all patients, we need to stop thinking that when people fall ill, they can go to the West to receive treatment. And this means that we need to put the emphasis on education and information. We need to have the right education system to train the teachers, the doctors of tomorrow in Africa. Education is key to it all, and Africa has the necessary tools. We have the gray matter that we need. We have a wealth of resources, human resources, but also natural resources, because of course we are blessed by nature. Because, for example, we have plenty of avocado or corn. We are living in an extremely wealthy continent, and therefore it doesn't make any sense that we are experiencing such difficulties. And when it comes to artists, it's a shame and it really is alarming. Yes, I apologize, but it's already 15 to 4 p.m. in Paris, in France. I'd like to give the floor to Zolani Mahola. We are coming to the end of this debate. We know that South Africa is one of the countries that is the hardest hit by the COVID-19 situation. How did you deal with the situation personally, especially considering that you just started your solo career at the beginning of the year?
Thanks. Listen, it's been such a challenging time, I think, for everyone all around the world. But for me, what I've come to realize is that regardless of anything, one of the most important things is to use the gifts of this time. There are so many challenges, but I think every time and every situation comes with opportunities. And for me, I have taken this time to look at myself, and look at my own kind of my own wants and my dreams for myself and for my country and for my world. And as part of doing that, I've been engaging in creative challenges with people all over the world, and also taking a lot of time, personal time for myself, because I feel like it's an important time to redress. And I think every single human being on this planet has to take that time for this purpose.
Merci Zolani Mahola depuis l'Afrique du Sud.
Thank you very much, Zolani Mahola, and thank you all for participating in this extremely insightful debate. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. I would like to thank also the audience. I'd like to thank our guests for their input. I would like to thank the audience. I would also like to thank our partners, Innovation for Policy Foundation, as well as all UNESCO members that made it possible for us to organize this debate. To conclude, we are going to listen to the song produced by the president of Liberia, George Weah, who is advocating for combating COVID-19. And stay with us, because right after this video clip, we will have performances from some of the great names of African music.
No security, everything is possible. It could be your mama, your papa, brother and sister. Let's stand together to fight this deadly disease now. Walk on the world we're living, total uncertainty. No security, everything is possible. It could be your mother, your father, even your sister. Let's stand together to fight this deadly disease now.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous, bienvenue dans cette émission spéciale de concert à travers l'Afrique, un événement intitulé « Quand la musique sauve des vies, lutter contre l'infodémie grâce à la culture ».
Good afternoon and welcome to this series of concerts on the occasion of Africa Day. Today, we are going to look at the various corners of the African continent. Many talented artists have got on board in order to contribute to the fight against COVID-19, especially in the context of the Don't Go Viral campaign organized by UNESCO. The aim of this campaign is to combat disinformation and to debunk fake news. Let us start with the song from the Africa Zero Corona group.
Those dark days have come, united, it don't matter the corner you come from. God with it, book it,
Shibana yo, coronavirus, et tu as gâté le show. Tout le monde sait qu'en Afrique, on aime danser, mais rester confiné, ça va aller. Fais pas espoir quand le meilleur reste à venir. C'est un nounoula, let's do this soon. Imana chanye fola. C'est un nounoula, let's do this soon. Africa, make we rise up. Africa, make we fight up. Africa, we no go give up. Africa, everybody play up.
Africa rise up, Africa stand up, yeah. Let's burn this thing down. Let's fight. Fire burn this corona, so you know every man is a soldier. We be fighting this over and over until this Babylon goes down.
Coronavirus est en réalité. Le Congo, Olingi, c'est bon. Assis sur la maboko, on a savon, on a savon.
Quoi d'autre de mieux que l'unité, Il faut se sensibiliser. Africa, make we fight and more. Africa, we got the power. Africa, time to shower. Africa, our Gongadama.
Western Uganda, Corona, Pamesa Sida, Hamasi, Iratu Sasile. As Africa together we can fight. You should sanitize.
Corona, back and go. Africa fight and make it back and go.
Turn on the light, together let us keep the dark away. Now is the time to fight this. We keeping it clean and we keeping it safe. We stay positive to ça va passer.
This time no be time for fear, no be time for drinking beer. Lavez les mains. Make we take care. Africa, protège-toi et protège aussi les autres. Africa, make we fight and more. Africa, now we go conquer. Africa, we know the fear more. Africa, stand up and fight for your life.
Ensemble nous vaincrons. Africains, restons tous debout. Africa qui gagne tous les jours.
Revo, love it. Nous sommes tous responsables puisque l'ennemi est commun. Alors faisons en sorte que ce virus rebrousse chemin. L'humanité est en danger, le continent est en danger, notre avenir est en danger. Corona. Corona barabeme, ninkafa kola menga. Yeah, barakudame, dunya webisafa, kolimise.
Qui va-t-il m'affronter? Votre quelle pandémie? Avec le neuf continent. Africa qui gagne tous les jours.
Gouvernement congolais,
Corona zéro.
gouvernement camerounais,
Corona zéro.
gouvernement ivoirien,
Corona zéro.
Africa, mon matomi batela, tomi lengele. Africa, make we fight and more. Corona, tu feras pas de dégâts chez moi. Africa, time to shower. Corona, tu feras pas de dégâts chez moi.
On va d'abord prendre la direction du Cameroun pour retrouver un des membres du collectif Africa Zéro Corona, Monsieur Léo. Monsieur Léo, quel est le rôle des artistes dans la lutte contre le coronavirus? Pourquoi est-il important pour les artistes de sensibiliser les populations par rapport à la maladie et contre les fake news?
Tout le monde aime la musique et les artistes sont beaucoup suivis et aimés par les fans. Donc c'est une bonne chose d'utiliser cela pour essayer de leur sensibiliser et en général lutter contre le Covid-19. Pas seulement ça, lutter aussi contre les fausses informations qui circulent autour de ça. Et le fait d'utiliser plusieurs artistes sur un morceau comme celle-ci, c'est aussi pour montrer le pouvoir de l'unité et faire tout et tout pour que le signal soit fort.
On va désormais rejoindre l'une des figures de proue de la campagne Don't Go Viral, Bobi Wine. L'artiste et député ougandais s'est mobilisé très tôt avec l'UNESCO pour alerter sur la maladie. Bobi Wine, vous avez composé la chanson Coronavirus Alert pour faire taire les fausses informations. Pourquoi est-il important que les artistes utilisent la culture pour combattre la désinformation? Qu'est-ce qui vous a motivé à prêter votre voix à ce combat?
J'ai décidé de rejoindre la campagne Don't Go Viral parce que je voulais utiliser ma voix pour atteindre les personnes défavorisées, les gens du ghetto, les personnes les plus pauvres qui ont besoin d'informations vérifiées. Souvent, ils en sont éloignés. Et quand j'ai pris contact avec l'UNESCO, c'était encore plus sympa pour moi de le faire, surtout grâce à la musique.
Merci Bobi Wine, vous allez nous interpréter en exclusivité une version revisitée de Coronavirus Alert et Alone All Together. On vous laisse la scène.
The bad news is that everyone is a potential victim, but the good news is that everyone is a potential solution. Sensitize the masses to sanitize, keep a social distance and quarantine. Well, this is Bobi Wine alongside Nubian Lynn straight from Uganda, the part of Africa. So we remind everybody to stay home and stay safe. And if you have to move around town, you better put on a face mask because it's for your own and everybody's safety. Welcome to the concert in confinement. Sing Nubian.
The coronavirus is sweeping over mankind.
Everybody must be alert. It's a global pandemic we can never take for granted. Everybody must be alert. It's a matter of life we can never take for granted. Discipline and personal hygiene and make sure you regularly wash your hand. Keep a distance from everyone. Report anything like a symptom. Serious fever is a symptom. Dry cough is a symptom. Now great is a symptom. Itchy eyes and blue is a symptom. Analyze.
Nabira kuyitale abasinga bafunde okuwewala kisingako bujanjaba. The coronavirus is sweeping over mankind.
Everybody must be alert. It's a global pandemic we can never take for granted. Everybody must be alert. It's a matter of life. Don't take it for granted.
Coronavirus is sweeping over mankind.
Everybody must be alert. Hope you're enjoying the concert in confinement. Yeah. Now this one goes out to the Print Out Foundation, Dr. Greg Mills, Brother Owls. Different times are here.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Searching for the answer.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Don't be a victim, be a solution. We have to persevere. All alone, but all together in our homes for each other. I know we find our way in Africa. In Africa. Woo. get no don't neglect. Oh yeah. Isolate to connect neck. Oh yeah. Don't be a victim, be a solution in our African sky blue. All alone, but all together in our homes for each other. I know we find our way in Africa. In Africa. In social inclusion. Oh yeah. Climb the ladder. Oh yeah. Don't be a victim, be a solution. We have to persevere. All alone, but all together in our homes for each other. I know we'll find our way in Africa.
Direction maintenant le Sénégal, où de nombreux artistes se sont engagés dans le combat contre le Covid-19. Une armée de guerriers, comme ils le disent eux-mêmes, menée par Youssou N'Dour et Didi Awadi. On va tout de suite écouter leur hymne, Daan Corona, du Wolof qui signifie « vaincre le Corona ». Et on retrouve l'auteur, musicien et rappeur Didi Awadi pour nous expliquer comment est né ce morceau.
On est sorti d'une audience avec des chefs de l'État qui nous sensibilisaient sur la gravité de la crise, de la pandémie. Et on s'est dit avec les amis des cultures urbaines, faisons un morceau ensemble. Et ensuite, commercialisons-le et donnons tous les bénéfices au ministère de la Santé pour l'aider par rapport au plan de riposte Covid-19. Et donc, les collègues m'ont demandé de faire la direction artistique. Et donc, j'ai fait cette musique donc, sur la base d'un morceau de Youssou N'Dour qui a accepté de nous accompagner. On a pris des artistes d'un peu partout, de différents styles. Et donc, c'est ce qui donne ces 20 artistes ensemble contre le Covid-19. Et dedans, on parle des gestes barrières, on parle de la sensibilisation par rapport à la gravité de la crise. Et pour que les gens comprennent que, voilà, c'est ensemble qu'on peut solutionner nos problèmes. C'est une réponse sénégalaise à un problème sénégalais, mais un problème mondial.
Didi Awadi, merci. Didi Awadi qui va maintenant interpréter spécialement pour vous Mami Wata.
On va demander à Mami Wata de nous enlever ce sacré corona. Tous les cas. Non, on va aller à la mer. Faut demander à Mami Wata de... Mami Wata, oh! Ils ont envoyé corona ici. Mami Wata, faut que j'appelle nous, faut que j'appelle nous, faut que j'appelle. Alléluia.
Mami Wata, Mami Wata, Mami Wata, Mami Wata, Mami Wata, Mami Wata, oh, Mami Wata, Mami Wata, fais leur stature, Mami Wata, fais leur stature, Mami Wata, fais leur stature, Mami Wata, oh, fais leur stature, Mami Wata.
Toujours dans la quête du lendemain, condamné pour la vie danser, je tends la main. Ici c'est rough and tough, mais si tu veux du gain, il va falloir donner des coups si tu veux du pain. Ici c'est Babylone, Bagdad, Islamabad, pas de l'eau, pas de voix, ici y'a pas de God. Quand on dit qu'on est ensemble, on est dans la merde. On est ensemble, mais ensemble tous dans la merde. Ici on trime, on rime, ici y'a pas de frime. Ici on deal, on kill, ici y'a pas de crime. Quand t'es faible, t'es mort, ici y'a pas de crime. Quand tu dors, t'es dead, ici y'a pas de dream. Yo la famille, on dit quoi?
Papa, on cherche.
On attend Dieu, son prophète qui nous dans la perche. On attend tous, personne ne sait ce qu'on attend. Mais on attend, de toute façon on a le temps. Damn, ils ont du fric, mais on a le temps. De belles caisses, mais on a le temps. De belles femmes, mais on a le temps. Eux, ils ont des monts plus bois, mais nous on a le temps. Damn it, ils ont du fric, mais on a le temps. De belles caisses, mais on a le temps. De belles femmes, mais on a le temps. Eux, ils ont des monts plus bois, mais nous on a le temps.
Mami wata, mami wata, mami wata, mami wata, mami wata, mami wata, oh, mami wata, mami wata, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata, oh, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata.
Tous les jours ça recommence, même point, même grain, même manigance. On rivalise de virulence, on a le choix, soit les urnes, soit la violence. Comment les baiser avec élégance, le grand en face et le jack avec méfiance. On a la science, ils ont le pouvoir, on a la masse, tôt ou tard, ils vont le savoir. Ils veulent nous plier, personne ne pourra briller. Seuls les traîtres parmi nous auront les billets. Ceux qui résistent dans la presse, on va les griller. Le salaud vous profitez de son édouillé. Je suis l'oiseau de mauvaise augure qui attend patiemment quand le fruit est mûr. Je suis l'oiseau de mauvaise augure et je te jure, tôt ou tard, on leur fait ça dur. Damn, ils ont du fric, mais on a le temps. De belles caisses, mais on a le temps. De belles femmes, mais on a le temps. Eux, ils ont des montres, tu vois, mais nous, on a le temps. Ils ont du fric, mais on a le temps. De belles caisses, mais on a le temps. De belles femmes, mais on a le temps. Eux, ils ont des montres, tu vois, mais nous, on a le temps.
Mami wata, 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 fais-leur ça dur, mami wata, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata, oh, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata. If I tell you, say I love you, oh, my money, my body, now your own, oh baby. For the I can see you Versace and Gucci for your body, oh baby.
They do, you're my little bird. They do, Sangala Lego. They do, you're my little bird. They do, Sangala Lego.
Mami wata, mami wata. Mami wata, mami wata, mami wata, mami wata, mami wata, mami wata, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata, fais-leur ça dur, mami wata, oh, fais-leur ça dur,
Ils ont du fric, mais on a le temps. De belles caisses, mais on a le temps. De belles femmes, mais on a le temps. Eux, ils ont des montres, tu vois, mais nous, on a le temps. Ils ont du fric,
mais on a le temps.
De belles caisses, mais on a le temps. De jolies montres,
mais on a le temps.
Eux, ils ont des montres, tu vois. Go les gars! Oh, le véritable.
Au Burkina Faso, l'une des figures de la lutte contre le coronavirus est Pam Laster. Elle va vous rappeler les gestes barrières à respecter pour éviter la propagation de la maladie.
Décembre 2019, Chine par ma toro, bar son bon coronavirus. Poukabe, à koune kateka, pur de nous enfants, wanerabe plaire. coronavirus sayokfo awatani wingle la consgo la mero atwentum yole liwanyinga idman busku sanda ton pons bakanga rale nyokne nuye rale mokne die zarof menga nenet santarbara lave-toi les mains, couvre-toi le nez, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, lave-toi les mains, couvre-toi la bouche, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, si tu veux tousser ou éternuer, fais-le dans le pli de ton coude ou dans un mouchoir jetable et jette-le dans une poubelle munie d'un couvercle. Protège-toi et protège les autres. Vos sangs n'en concert, la conspirée, vos sangs n'en tissi, la tisspirée, ning sa pandom perf nous sanire, perf nous sawakat fan, perandayaye. Lave-toi les mains. Couvre-toi le nez, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, lave-toi les mains, couvre-toi la bouche, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, ambalmao, nabi fe katanga coronavirus bananima. Anga tigeko tisafne, anka na maganyogona, anka nu na dada tugu, nabi fe kasoro. Le nez, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, lave-toi les mains, couvre-toi la bouche, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, lave-toi les mains, en baba couvre-toi le nez, en mansongo, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, lave-toi les mains, couvre-toi la bouche, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, yeah, 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 yo, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. Ah, 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 ton nom, ton gambe, yo, eh, ton nom, ton gambe, ton nom, ton gambe, yeah. Lave-toi les mains, lave-toi les mains. Évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, lave-toi les mains, couvre-toi le nez, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, lave-toi les mains, couvre-toi la bouche, évite les contacts physiques. Coronavirus, c'est là.
Il est le représentant de la campagne Don't Go Viral au Niger, le rappeur Danny Lee, pourquoi avez-vous décidé de vous engager dans ce combat?
Mon rôle en tant qu'artiste, c'est d'être acteur de sensibilisation, de créer des chansons pour faire passer des messages auprès des populations et surtout les peuples les plus marginalisés. Je pense aux réfugiés, je pense aux peuples nomades. Donc, la campagne Don't Go Viral m'a attiré parce que ça lutte contre la mésinformation. Et je pense qu'en tant qu'artiste, je peux contribuer à apporter des informations au peuple et des informations qui résultent des sources très très sûres pour pouvoir lutter contre le COVID-19.
Danili, vous allez justement nous interpréter la chanson « Protège ta life » avec votre collectif Point Levé.
This is real hip-hop.
Collectif Point Levé.
Tous ensemble face au coronavirus.
Face au coronavirus, protège ta life, protège ta life.
Muna damai sai wabai wabai tarai si kabai kabai kadan kai dor take polo bangai koto kayeri dumai zadori kal dai dani ni changi wal min bondan kubuli dan char kamara jandi jandi meter po de dandi koto ni patara wala mo chalara banda ma kurai se bisira kabanyu min sorbobo aganan ni mu wada doro
ko ina na wuce sace corona ake Afrika a ture zancen suke COVID-19 mutane da dama ne ta kashe a radio a tele zancen ake mun sani shi mu bar taurin kai wata bara kowa mun sani sarai ya kafi ya fi magani mun san ki wanke hannu mu da sabuli
Ait mahir shetma dira wala safu okdahan itar hair semra turhunna tajo tamiditin turhunna sidarin datas وارتكست ترها تجرنا حلا أم كواسانا قسانا ديو هنقطي نديو ودغت المكسي نمجري ونفلت السيبانة
Face au coronavirus, protège ta life, protège ta life. On ne vit qu'une seule fois, alors protège ta famille. On ne vit qu'une seule fois, alors protège tes amis. On ne vit qu'une seule fois, alors protège ta vie. On ne vit qu'une seule fois, alors écoute les consignes.
Nous sommes en guerre contre un ennemi invisible. Pour une fois, éloignés, nous serons invincibles. Je sais que t'as toujours rêvé d'être Superman. Reste chez toi, tu verras, c'est Superman. Adoptons des gestes simples, easy, easy, tu sauves les tiens. Adoptons des gestes simples. Pendant les moments de relâchement, on se serre les coudes. Pendant les moments de relâchement, on éternue dans le pli des coudes.
Corona, Corona, t'as décimé ma famille sans mon consentement. Partout où tu apparais, tu n'estimes que l'amour brutalement. Dans nos cœurs, ça résonne tristesse, douleur, désespoir profondément. Parfois je me demande humainement, mais qu'est-ce qu'on a fait illégalement pour mériter cette situation qui dépasse l'entendement. Mes frères et sœurs, père et mère, grand-père, grand-mère, l'heure est grave, sérieusement. La seule manière de ne pas choper le Covid-19, c'est d'être responsable dans nos comportements. Yeah.
J'ai fermé la porte de ma maison, j'ai laissé de côté mes fonctions. Quand je vois les informations, ce n'est que désolation. Doroman Kwarachindi, Kangaga Wihawisadi, Mvorkulma Goringa Kwara, Wodinga Niriga Boza, Argentila Samakadu, Nigérize Wagandua.
Protège ta life et celle des autres. Et en cas de symptômes, contacte le 15. Collectif Point Levé.
Vous le voyez, ils sont bien nombreux à se mobiliser pour lutter tous contre ce fléau qu'est le coronavirus. Une mobilisation panafricaine dont nous parle King Mensa depuis le Togo.
Je pense personnellement que c'est un grand combat pour les artistes aujourd'hui d'être encore un peu plus ensemble aussi. Et puis j'ai monté un orphelinat, ça fait plus de 20 ans. Donc ça fait qu'en ce temps-ci, ce que j'ai fait une tournée dans les orphelinats, en fait des dons à ces enfants-là. Je pense que c'est très important. Mais ce qui est sûr, ça passera. Le soleil se lève le matin, le soleil va se coucher.
King Mensa qui va nous jouer Ega Begna.
Hey!
Entre les annulations de concerts et de spectacles et la fermeture des musées, théâtres et cinémas, le monde de la culture est très affecté par l'actuelle crise que nous traversons. DJ Kedjevara est avec nous depuis Abidjan. DJ Kedjevara, de quelle manière la pandémie de Covid-19 a-t-elle affecté les artistes en Côte d'Ivoire ?
Eh bien, la pandémie de Covid-19 a beaucoup affecté les artistes de Côte d'Ivoire parce qu'il n'y avait plus de spectacles, les salles de spectacles étaient fermées, les espaces de spectacles et concerts étaient fermés, les rassemblements populaires avec plus de 50 personnes ont été interdites par les autorités. Donc, ce qui faisait que tous les artistes étaient au chômage et c'était un peu compliqué vu qu'en Afrique ici, on ne vend pas beaucoup de CD, c'est plus par les spectacles que nous gagnons. Donc, lorsqu'il n'y a pas de spectacle, vous comprenez que la situation devient compliquée.
On rejoint l'artiste bénino-ghanéenne Fafa Rufino à Accra. Fafa Rufino, vous aussi, vous avez subi les conséquences des mesures sanitaires adoptées pour limiter la propagation du virus ?
La pandémie a eu des conséquences terribles. On a eu beaucoup de concerts annulés ici au Ghana et au Bénin aussi. Cela a mis les artistes dans une situation pas du tout confortable, puisque nous ne vivons que de nos concerts. Bon, les artistes qui sont déjà établis, eux, ils reçoivent les droits d'auteur et tout ça. Mais bon, les autres artistes qui sont débutants ou qui ne vivent que de concerts et qui jouent aussi dans les cabarets, c'est très compliqué pour eux de s'en sortir financièrement avec les temps qui courent. En tout cas, j'espère que l'État pourra faire quelque chose, parce que la seule solution, c'est ça. C'est que l'État puisse nous aider, puisse, je ne sais pas, prendre la relève un petit peu comme en France, où les gens sont, où l'État essaye de rembourser les concerts annulés. Bon, ça va être un peu difficile. Je sais qu'en Afrique, on a un peu de mal. Mais bon, j'espère vraiment, parce que nous ne vivons que de la musique, et nous ne vivons que des concerts. Et c'est difficile, c'est très compliqué et difficile.
Fafa Rufino, vous allez nous interpréter votre chanson intitulée « Il ».
Ogun ibi ọ̀kan ẹrú wọ́n ti kéde ìyá aláwọ̀ dúdú dànù wọ́n ti kéde ìyá aláwọ̀ dúdú dànù. Wọ́n ṣe bí ẹni tó fẹ́ràn rẹ̀ kó kẹ́ wọn rárá nípa ìyá rẹ̀. Wọ́n ṣe bí ẹni tó fẹ́ràn rẹ̀ kò kàn wọ́n rárá nípa ìyá rẹ̀. Síbẹ̀, ilé Áfíríkà, ilé Áfíríkà, ilé mi ni Áfíríkà. Ayé mi ni, ilé mi ni, Áfíríkà tó ńlá náà mi, òun lè ní àti ọ̀la mi, ilé mi ni mi ò jẹ́ gbàgbé. Ayé mi ni, ilé mi ni, Áfíríkà tó ńlá náà mi, òun lè ní àti ọ̀la mi, ilé mi ni mi ò jẹ́ gbàgbé. Africa, ilé, mo nírètí nítorí mo gbẹ́kẹ̀lé. Èmi mi balẹ̀ wọ̀, Mama Africa, Mama Africa, Mama Africa. Mama Africa, Mama Africa. Go Ferrara, go Ferrara. shibiani to ferrara kukara niba yara Africa ile mini Africa Africa ile mini Africa Africa ayemini ile mini Africa donla nami oleni ati olami ile mini mioji bagbe ayemini ile mini Africa donla nami Africa donla nami ile Africa ile Africa
Il est avec nous depuis Dakar, le chanteur et guitariste Sahad Sarr, celui que certains présentent comme le James Brown du Sénégal. Sahad Sarr nous parle également des difficultés auxquelles il fait face. Il nous a enregistré cette vidéo.
Yes, non, aujourd'hui c'est un jour pour le studio, mais tu vois, ici dans le village, il n'y a pas assez de courant. On a nos propres panneaux solaires, donc je suis obligé d'attendre le matin à 10h quand il y a du soleil pour entrer au studio. Donc en fait, c'est là que je continue notre album qui s'intitule Luma, qu'on a déjà commencé à enregistrer dans la ville de Dakar. Mais avec le confinement et le virus, donc je suis obligé de venir au village. Donc je vais vous montrer là. Petit studio, juste un ordi, 2 enceintes, une petite carte de son. Je l'ai ramené lors du confinement parce qu'on n'avait pas le choix et que je ne pouvais pas rester ici sans faire la musique. Donc là, c'est un écodome. On vit, le studio est solaire, on a des installations solaires. Donc je ne peux pas enregistrer long terme. C'est chaque matin de 9h midi, 9h midi jusqu'à 13h. Et j'arrête parce que si je continue, on n'aura plus de courant dans le village. Donc d'ailleurs, préparation future album Luma. Thanks. Dole. En ce moment, je suis au village, je prépare un nouvel album. Et pour moi, c'est important de revenir tout le temps dans les zones rurales. Laissez aller lire ce monde que nous avons chargé calamité. Et que naturellement, un musicien a besoin de l'espace, a besoin de voir un environnement, a besoin de silence de temps à autre pour pouvoir s'inspirer. Et des fois, on trouve les ingrédients ici dans notre espace au village. Parce qu'il y a un rapport même avec notre prochain album qui s'intitule Luma. On veut faire aussi allusion à la place des gens qui sont dans les villages lointains et qui n'ont pas souvent de voix pour montrer ce qu'ils vivent. Laissez aller ce monde que nous avons souvent empoisonné. Finish.
Je vous propose maintenant de prendre la route de Madagascar où nous attend Tensmena. Tensmena, vous nous chantez Tompo Tanana, un morceau qui parle du respect de la femme.
voilà délire non t'arriva tu vai la mano ti mobile governi e non mi fa un dissolvo amara deri fanatica di si prolongation base on peut qu'on va la hita di sake
Tensmena, vous avez vous-même été victime du Covid-19. Est-ce que vous avez ressenti le besoin de sensibiliser vos concitoyens et de les mettre en garde contre cette maladie très contagieuse?
Oui, je suis bien. Oui, j'étais une victime du Covid-19 ici à Madagascar. Le virus m'a attrapé il y a 2 mois de cela. C'était l'enfer de ma vie, un vrai désastre. Donc je remercie Dieu aujourd'hui que je suis bien guérie, je remercie l'État malgache, je remercie les soignants, les médecins, les docteurs, tout le monde ici à Madagascar. Et j'incite mes concitoyens malgaches aujourd'hui de bien suivre les règles sanitaires, de rester chez vous, rester chez soi, laver vos mains toutes les secondes. Au cas où vous sortez dehors, respectez les règles des maîtres car c'est très important pour combattre ce virus désastreux, c'est l'enfer. Donc ensemble on y arrivera, restez chez vous, lavez vos mains toutes les secondes et respectez les règles des maîtres, toutes les règles sanitaires.
Retour à Abidjan où se trouve Révolution Group et on va écouter Tout va bien, un appel à l'union de tous les Africains.
Qu'on appelle Revo. Gouverneur, Chalamouna, Lobit, à toute l'Afrique. Yeah. Si je respire, c'est que tout va bien. Si je mange à ma faim, c'est que tout va bien. Si je peux danser, c'est que tout va bien. Alors la famille, est-ce que tout va bien? Problème prévient pas, les ennuis ne finissent pas. L'argent ne suffit pas, tous les rêves se réalisent pas. Ça peut pas chauffer, on est lancé, on ne peut plus les crier, on est lancé, ça peut pas chauffer, on est lancé, on ne peut plus les crier.
sur ce que Dieu m'a donné. À la galère, je me suis désabonné. Ce soir, on se fait la fête, les amis, ça va chauffer. Maman, ne t'inquiète pas, tout va bien. J'ai mon petit Josie, tout va bien. J'ai un petit toit où dormir, tout va bien. Autour de moi, une jolie famille, tout va bien. J'ai ma petite chérie, tout va bien. Yo, problème prévient pas, oh. Les ennuis ne finissent pas, l'argent ne suffit pas, oh, 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 oh. Tous les rêves se réalisent pas, ça peut pas chauffer, oh, oh, oh. On est lancé, oh, oh, oh. On ne peut plus récréer, oh, oh, oh. On est lancé, oh, oh, oh. Ça peut pas chauffer, oh, oh, oh. On est lancé. On force pas, yeah, yeah, on force pas. On y va, c'est coutou, champoupou, à chacun son taïko. Mon cabas ou ton caviar, à Tito c'est toi qui vois. Beyoncé ou Akissi, à chacun sa fraîchini. C'est Midjan ou Ferrari, c'est l'arrivée qui compte. N'oublie pas, oh, les ennuis ne finissent pas, l'argent ne suffit pas, oh, 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 oh. Tous les rêves ne se réalisent pas, oh, oh, oh. C'est lancé, oh, oh, oh. On ne peut plus rien créer, oh, oh, oh. Lancé, oh, oh, oh. Ça peut pas chauffer, oh, oh, oh. On est lancé, oh, oh, oh. On ne peut plus rien créer, oh, oh, oh. Rien créer, oh, oh, oh. Yeah, allez, va. Suba. Allez, va. Revo, la vite. C'était la Revo.
On refait un tour en Ouganda pour y retrouver Spice Diana. Si vous ne la connaissez pas, ouvrez grand vos oreilles. Sa voix est sublime.
Ok. Ferme. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this one. You
C'est un afrobeat qui souligne l'urgence de la situation et nous rappelle que l'on ne peut pas se permettre d'attendre face à la pandémie qui affecte notre planète. No Waiting, la création de Sean Kuti et les frères Smith.
Sean Kuti, mon frère Smith. Voilà. You won't change my people, say no waiting.
No waiting,
African people say no waiting.
no waiting,
Everybody let me hear you say no waiting.
no waiting.
If you want those good things, you must wait to see. But we want what we want today. If you know freedom cannot wait, say no waiting.
No waiting.
If you know justice cannot wait, say no waiting.
No waiting.
If you know the people cannot wait, say no waiting.
No waiting.
If you know the climate cannot wait, say no waiting.
No waiting.
Say no waiting.
No waiting.
Say no waiting.
No waiting.
No waiting.
No waiting.
No waiting.
No waiting.
Say no waiting.
No waiting.
Say no waiting.
No waiting.
Sean Kuti, mon frère Smith.
On retrouve Fab Smith. Bonjour, vous êtes à la tête des frères Smith. Vous avez composé le titre No Waiting que l'on vient d'entendre. Pourquoi le rôle de l'artiste est-il primordial aujourd'hui face à la crise que nous traversons tous ?
Bonjour et merci pour cette invitation à cette journée mondiale de l'Afrique. L'artiste a pour rôle principal aujourd'hui de transmettre et partager le message de son art. Je rajouterais que par le bien fondé de son approche artistique, il y a l'amour qu'il transmet, un message d'amour qu'il transmet donc à son public. Les frères Smith ont rencontré Sean Kuti pour faire le titre No Waiting qui a été lauréat de meilleur audio lors de la campagne contre le Covid-19 orchestrée par I4Policy et UNESCO. C'était la rencontre de deux univers, Afrique, Europe, pour donner le message que le changement c'est maintenant, la mutation c'est maintenant, par le fait qu'on devient acteur de notre propre destinée et non spectateur.
On va terminer cette émission aux États-Unis avec tout d'abord ce message qu'a souhaité vous faire passer Marcus Miller depuis Los Angeles. Il vous appelle à participer vous aussi à la campagne Don't Go Viral.
Hey, this is Marcus Miller, bass player, jazz composer from the USA with part of my heart in Africa. I want to invite all my fellow musicians, all my fellow artists, my fellow co-creators to join me in the Don't Go Viral campaign launched by UNESCO and I4Policy. We need to share our creative gifts and create a message of solidarity so we can figure out a response to this COVID-19 situation, a recovery to this COVID-19 situation. We need to spread as much information as we can, and we need to combat misinformation because there's a lot of that out there. We need to celebrate our diversity to fight this viral adversity. You know, our societies are only as strong as our ability to care for each other. We create our future together. So join me, Marcus Miller, and the Don't Go Viral campaign so we can make sure we create a future that's both resilient and rhythmic. Together, we're our greatest resource.
Dernier arrêt, New York, pour y retrouver DJ Flex. Le coronavirus l'a personnellement touché. DJ Flex a perdu un être très cher, son père. C'est ce qui explique d'ailleurs son engagement. On l'écoute.
All right, so COVID-19 for me was, kind of tough. I was a full-time student at a university. This year, especially, just trying to take everything from in-class to virtual classes was very tough. Another thing that also affected me was that I lost someone very close to me, which is my father. The pandemic was very tragic. It took a toll on just focusing on schoolwork. Then losing someone very close to you like that just came to a dead end for me. And this was kind of an avenue for me to kind of express what I wanted to do, and show light on how serious COVID-19 is.
C'est ainsi que s'achève cette émission spéciale. On espère que le spectacle vous a plu. Merci à vous tous de l'avoir suivi. Un grand merci également à tous les artistes qui ont participé et à tous ceux qui ont permis la réalisation de cet événement qui honore la créativité et la solidarité que l'on a observé partout en Afrique. On va se quitter avec le remix de DJ Flex qui regroupe toute la playlist des chansons de la campagne Don't Go Viral. Avec la playlist du coronavirus, c'est l'Afrique qui lutte en chansons.
One of those dark days have come. United, it don't matter the corner you come from. God, we need to keep us high. God, one day we have a us high. Why don't you make unité? Il faut se sensibiliser. Africa, make we fight and more. Africa, we got the power, oh Africa, time to shower, oh Africa, come on, yeah. The future is bright, together we fight, no matter the darkness, make me fight and more. We got the power. Africa, we raise our
The future is bright. Together we fight. No matter the darkness.
Make me fight and go. We got the power. Make me fight and go. Make me fight. Make me fight. We got the power. Make me fight and go.
In the pieces, had to X some cheesy. My circle like a piece. I'm way too exclusive. I don't shop on Insta boutiques. All the clothes only fit baby. Cash, still talking cash. Like water, I'm a mother and relaxing. I would never trip on the if I had him. That's my trash, you the maid, so you back. I'm a savage. Classic, bougie, ratchet. Sassy, nasty. Acting, big was happening. Was happening. I'm a savage. Classy, bougie, ratchet. Sassy, nasty. Acting, big was happening. Was happening.
Africa rise up, Africa stand up, yeah, yeah. Let's burn this thing down. Let's fight, let's fight. Fire burn this corona, so you know every man is a soldier. We be fighting it over and over until the Babylon goes down.
Don't be bad, tell I wanna freak. Coronavirus, yes, en réalité. No como yeah. Odingi odi c'est bon. Assis sur la maman pour la savon, on a sa part. Que l'unité, que l'unité. Il faut se sensibiliser, sensibiliser.
Africa, make me fight and go. Africa, we got the power. Africa, time to shower. Africa, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uganda, Uganda, Corona. I'm a sassina, Babimasi. Yeah, to sassine. As Africans together we can fight. We should
Africa fight and make it back.
turn on the light. Together let us keep the dark away. Now it's a time to focus. We keep it clean and we keep it safe. The team to set up a safe.
No time for fear, no time for drinking beer. Having it now. Take it care. Protège toi, et protège aussi les Africa. We fight and go Africa. Now we go Africa. We gonna share more Africa. I'm gonna fight for your life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nous sommes tous responsables que l'ennemi est commun. Alors faisons ensemble que ce virus est possible. L'humanité est en danger, le continent est en danger, notre avenir est en danger. Ya, corona. Corona la deme, ninkamsa kona menga. Yeah, kala kudame, dunya we big safa. Colimise. Gouvernement congolais, gouvernement camerounais, gouvernement ivoirien, Africa, on va tomber pas de Africa, make me fight and go. Corona, tu feras
dit cependant en international. Voilà que le monde connaît un ennemi. Quand l'épidémie est générale, c'est la pandémie. Pour le moment, la solution c'est rester confiné. Se laver les mains, à tout moment ne pas contaminer.
Ici la ñi dëkk doon dellu sàkku ñaan di ñaan yàlla bu mu nangu lépp ñu ko ñaan si tànne de yàq xel di soppi xalaat di féewale àndandoo dal bu mu laal yaay yéen xaale réew mi ni laa ko bëggee waaw kaay leen xeex li man laa ko bëggee sono ni corona bi waroon na fi bañ a ñëw lëmbe na àdduna gi ko xeex mu bañ a daw fajaru fagaru raxasu ne bañ a jaxasoo ba su boobu musiba sax duñ ko fàttali ko jàngoro ko mel ni bii ku nekk xeex ci àdduna ba jaadu na ñu toog ci kër gi band yoo ci mal bi kenn ko bari dañu rek pour tout être sur l'humanité c'est tous ces mots le fait que nous économies font pas beaucoup de temps mais à part ça les familles se retrouvent on respire pour la médecine et la star
wax nañ ma son bàyyi taxul ñu bàyyi bàyyi daje yi te moytu jotaay toogal sa kër bàyyi mbedd me wax leen li ñu digle ñu dem ci tay
xaale réew mi ni laa ko bëggee waaw